Good day to the 18th of February 2025 and the 49th day of the year. Let's look at things that made history on the 18th of February throughout time, starting with the 3102 before the Common Era, where Kali Yuga, the fourth and final yuga of Hinduism, starts with the death of Krishna. We go through many centuries and jump to 1229 when the sixth crusade of Frederick II, the Holy Roman Emperor. I'm having a really bad day today with names. And he negotiated peace, and he negotiated Jerusalem, Nazareth, and Bethlehem without raising a sword. And not even the support of the Pope, but it sounds that sort of guy that would negotiate Trump. We leap forward a couple of hundred years to 1478, when a bit of action in the Tower of London happened when George, Duke of Clarence, was convicted of treason against his brother, Edward IV, and he was executed. His head was chopped off. So we jump forward to 1637 and the 80 Years' War off the coast of England, where a bunch of Dutch and British ships and convoys and 6 warships are jumped by the Spaniards, and 20 of the ships are either destroyed or captured. It's now 1781 and the Fourth Anglo-Dutch War, so we seem to be striking back 40 years later on the Dutch. And we decided not to like them when Captain Thomas Shirley opens his expedition against the Dutch colonial outposts in Ghana. And it's 1797 now, the French Revolutionary Wars. And so Ralph Abercrombie and a fleet of 18 British warships invade Trinidad. Well, if they wanted a holiday, they could have done it another way, or they probably had nothing to do that particular day. In 1861, in Montgomery, Alabama, Jefferson Davis is inaugurated as the provisional president of the Confederate States of America. Good for him, didn't last long. And in 1878, John Tunstall is murdered by the outlaw Jesse Evans, sparking the Lincoln County Wars. And that's an interesting time in American Western cowboy folklore, with William H. Bonney and the Billy the Kid getting involved. In 1885, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn were published by Mark Twain. And then, in 1911, the first official flight of airmail, and it happened in India, of all places. And this French bloke called Henri Picon flew an aircraft 6 miles with 6,500 letters on board. I still don't understand why they just didn't use an ox and a cart, but there you go. And then in 1915, very interesting, U-boat campaign started by the Imperial German Navy, and my grandfather took this. Now this is a depth measuring device or meter he took off a German U-boat when it foundered on the rocks near where he was working at the time as a signaller in the Navy and the Marine Coast Guard up in Malin Head. And we move on to 1930 when Elm Farm Ollie, a cow, which calling that out anyway, becomes the first cow to fly in a fixed-wing aircraft. She wasn't flying it, she was just in it. And then she ends up being milked. Now, I don't think she could be terribly impressed by that, but hey, humans are very strange with animals. We're now going to leap forward to 1977. There is a load of other stuff going on, but decided not to talk about it. The Xinjiang 61st Regiment Farm fire starts during the Chinese New Year celebrations when a cracker leapt onto the Mao Zedong Memorial paper, and it killed 694 people and remains the deadliest firework accident in the world. Now, 1977, I'm a space freak. I love space. I love what Elon Musk is doing with the Starship and all the stuff, that stuff. But going back to 1977, as you know, they used to fly the shuttles from California back to launch them at Cape Canaveral. And the first time they did it was in 1977, and the Space Shuttle Enterprise was flown on the back of a 747. Then in 2013, armed robbers steal a haul of diamonds from Brussels Airport, and that is crazy. $50 million, and they still haven't been caught. Then in 2014, it's very close. 76 people killed and hundreds injured in riots in Kiev between the police and demonstrators in Ukraine. It's the second day running Ukraine's featured on this daily history. And finally, is 2021. Perseverance, a Mars rover, landed safely so it could investigate Jezero crater on Mars as part of the NASA Mars 2020 mission. And it did. It landed successfully, not like the British attempt, which was a bouncy ball. And they think it bounced when it landed and went down a hole and then it never came out again. Anyway, today in the Gambia, it's Independence Day. They got their independence in 1965, and good luck with them. Anyway, feel yourself educated for today. Think on it, and good day from the old Big.